Hey, what's up everybody? So we're finally finishing up our Alaska trip, and I have to say that Alaska has really met and exceeded my expectations. All the sights, all the sounds, the wildlife, the scenic environment, just everything really gave me a new experience on what life kind of is supposed to feel like, at least for me. Like it kind of reinvigorated what my values are, what my values should be in life. And if you guys remember from the scene, The Matrix 3, where Trinity and Neo are flying up, fighting all of these robots, and they finally go over the cloud horizon. They see the sunrise or sunset for the first time ever. And you get that experience of like, wow. That is kind of what I experienced when I was just experiencing all of what Alaska has to offer. And I want to share that experience with you in this 10-day video experience where we traveled from Fairbanks all the way down to Denali, to Anchorage, all the way down to Seaward, back to Anchorage, and we're gonna start seeing some glaciers, making our way over to Valdez, and finally finishing up over at Fairbanks again. And we saw a lot of gorgeous scenery, environments, wildlife, water, glacier, the fjords of Alaska, just everything that really gets you to appreciate life. And so I want to share my experiences so that people who are looking for an awesome Alaska trip can also utilize my itinerary to see the best of what Alaska has to offer. And even the airplane ride from Seattle to Alaska was such a beautiful, marvelous thing to see, because the fact is the glaciers are right there on the airplane as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and start with day one at Fairbanks. Hey, what's up everybody? So here we are, day one, and we finally arrived at Fairbanks, flying in from Seattle. And again, I just have to reiterate and rephrase just how fantastic the flight from Seattle to Alaska actually is. And I've never actually flown on an airplane where you could just literally see the fjords, the glaciers, and just how high the mountains of Alaska actually are. So one of the more beautiful aspects of flying to Alaska actually. So anyways, here we are at Fairbanks, and I don't really have a lot of things planned today. Primarily just getting the car, getting our lodgings, and just kind of getting everything organized. But we did end up stopping by a few cool places to check out along our day trip that wasn't actually planned for my itinerary. So by the way, there's a lot of mosquitoes in Alaska, so I'd highly recommend bringing lots of like long sleeves and just mosquito repellents, wearing face masks and all that, or whatever, netting, because this is really annoying, and that's why I have pretty much my hoodie on, even though it's not really that hot. But I gotta protect that buzzing sound around the ears, when mosquitoes fly. It's like, I hate that sound. Anyways, so we ended up going to a place called the Crepery, or Crepery, I don't really know how to pronounce that, where they have a lot of various different flavors and items that involve crepes. So what I ended up ordering was a creme brulee with blueberries and strawberries. We also ordered a smoked salmon crepe, as well as a Nutella crepe. Now, depending on obviously the mood that you're experiencing, whether or not you want something sweet or savory, I would highly recommend getting the creme brulee crepe, because it basically does taste like a creme brulee, other than the fact that you don't have that sugary, crunchy texture to it. But the pudding, or rather the custard that is supplementing with the crepes, actually really good. Now, smoked salmon one, again, is more of a savory dish. It comes in actually pretty warm. It feels like you're eating almost like a pita salmon sandwich, because they don't just put the crepe, flip it over. They actually kind of deep fry the outer layer of it, so it had a little bit of a crunchy texture to it. So not bad if you're feeling something fishy and you want something that's more cooked. And the other one that my brother ended up ordering was the Nutella chocolate crepe, and this one's nothing fancy in my opinion, just literally Nutella crepe and just some whipped cream on top, and some strawberries on the side. So I do want to mention a little things about Fairbanks. We just did a little bit of a minor drive around the town, and they do have an REI, they do have a Walmart, and they do have a Fred Meyer. So if you feel like you forgot some stuff at home, or you want to pick up some stuff, remember, by the way, Alaska does not have a sales tax, so everything is pretty much buy as priced. So for dinner, I ended up making a reservation called the Pumphouse, which is apparently a National Historic Site. And if you look at the menu in the back, they actually explain the reason why this is actually a historic site. But I would highly recommend people coming and making reservations to this place, because it actually exceeded my expectations. I mean, the fact that Fairbanks is such a small town, relatively small town to where I'm from, Seattle and LA, that I didn't really figure that they would have a really good place to have food. And I would choose the outdoor seating if possible. I mean, they do have both indoor, outdoor, as well as a saloon type environment. But I would choose outdoors because you're basically right next to the Cheyna River. I think it's the Cheyna River, don't quote me on this. but really nice. And just depending on how hot and depending on how like annoying these mosquitoes are, you'd probably want to sit inside, so pick or choose. So as far as food is concerned, we ended up doing family style. So we have 6 people in our group. Instead of ordering individual, I mean, we did order individual dishes, but we made sure to basically cut and share among everybody. That way we could all try different flavors, different samplers, and just different cuisines from this restaurant. So what we ended up ordering was the seafood platter, the seafood risotto, the reindeer medallion, really good by the way, the grilled salmon, the blackened halibut, and calamari for an appetizer. And I would have to say, based off popularity and based off what our hostess has recommended, the seafood risotto is basically a really, really rich, creamy, silky risotto dish that comes with seafood, little bits of hints of scallop, minor shrimps inside. Highly, highly recommended, and it comes in a nice, large platter size, so everyone can pretty much enjoy it. This is basically your main staple dish where you can pretty much share this among everybody, and there's still going to be some levels of seafood risotto still available for everybody in case you want to get seconds. So I've never actually had game meat before, so things like elk, deer, in this case reindeer, and I have to say, the reindeer medallion was fantastic. And I mean, we've all had steaks before, we've all had lamb chop, we've all had pork, but the way a reindeer is texturized, it's really, really soft. And the way they cook it, it comes in a medium to about a medium rare texture and juicy. Gosh, mosquitoes. The way I can describe it is that imagine like an almost perfect steak. I mean, I say almost perfect because I don't know if a steak can be perfect, but imagine a really, really good, high expensive steak, perfectly seasoned, perfectly textured, and wrapped around bacon, right? Everything wrapped around bacon is always pretty good. So we also ended up ordering what's called the Alaska Seafood Sampler, and this is basically market price for the season. And when looking at the receipt, actually, it came out to about $90, but look at how massive this seafood platter is. So again, we ended up ordering the seafood sampler for 2 people, but again, we have 6 people in our group, and we still had a lot of leftovers for everyone to enjoy. So it came with, I believe, 4 oysters, a good amount of smoked salmon actually, 2 to 3 size crabs, as well as shrimps, cooked shrimp, as well as in the middle, it comes with clams. So if you're looking for some really, really good seafood, highly, highly recommended. Again, we ordered the smoked salmon or the glazed salmon as well as the blackened halibut, and those are all really good as well. So I can't really say which one is my favorite because they're all really, really good. And so we want to make sure we save some room for dessert. And so, oh my God, if you take a look at the dessert menu, they're literally, that's how big they come in as far as the size is concerned. So what we ended up ordering was the creme brulee, as well as the chocolate mousse cake. And I'm not really a big fan of chocolate mousse primarily because I don't really like the soft texture of the cake itself, but holy crap, I actually really, really like this chocolate mousse cake. It's just due to the fact that the cookie crumble, or if the cookie, how do I describe it? The cookie and the backside adds a perfect combination with the softness of the mousse. So and the cookie is just perfectly sweetened. Not too sweet, not too unsweet. It was just like literally just right. And highly, highly recommend getting this over anything else. Again, creme brulee is always going to be creme brulee. You can't really make creme brulee wrong, right? I don't know. So again, I would highly, highly recommend making a reservation to the Pumphouse restaurant to get some really, really good seafood as well as really, really good game meat. After dinner, we want to go ahead and make a quick stop over towards Cheyna Hotsprings. Hey, what's up everybody? So after eating dinner at Pumphouse, we made our way over to Cheyna Hotsprings, and I have to say the drive heading towards Cheyna Hotsprings, although it's about 66 miles or about an hour to an hour and a half drive, the drive is so beautiful, so magnificent, so tranquil. And I have to say, due to the fact that we're in Alaska, everything's about Mother Nature, definitely try and look out for some moose or some live animals. So we ended up seeing a moose and a beaver along the way. So really try and look out for that. But all right, let's go ahead and just kind of relax a little bit and just get some nice hot spring sulfur water in our system and just relax for the rest of the evening. Not gonna lie, that feels really good, really relaxing, and oh my God, a much needed refreshing break from life. From life feels really good. So a little bit of information about the Cheyna Hot Springs. It costs about $20 per person, and I would highly recommend everyone bring their own towel. Otherwise, they charge you a towel fee of about $3. There is lockers that they provide for everybody to utilize to basically store your stuff. And it costs about 50 cents for one-time use. So that means if you want to unlock it, put something in, take it out, put something in again, basically $1, right? So highly recommend everybody come. If you guys are planning on visiting Fairbanks area, although it's about an hour drive, definitely worth it, and just come, relax, enjoy this nice water. So, all right, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow morning where we're gonna start doing our Denali day trip.